So today I have decided to start making new pillar statues for the mausoleum because I did not like the pillars. And that's what the pillars are now. They are now going to be Christmas pillars. So I will take the new statues off and put those in its place for Christmas. I just didn't like how they looked. They kept blowing over because they weren't attached to the foam, the topper or the base. And so this new thing that I'm going to put up, the new statues, will have a pipe going from, it's probably going to be a metal pipe. I think I'm actually going to use metal, just because of the stability of it. So we'll see how I decide that. That's probably going to be something I'm going to do. Well, I kind of need to do that beforehand. But anyways, I digress. They're going to sandwich in between the header and the base, and they won't fall over, and they'll be much heavier, but they will also be much cooler looking than just a round thing. And it also then it distinguishes my mausoleum from the original one that I did kind of an inspiration from. So then it's not a copy. I don't really like to do copies. Other cemeteries and other haunts do, they'll copy something from another cemetery, and I kind of want to do spins on those things because it's hard to come up with your own original idea, because inevitably if it's a statue that's in a cemetery, it's probably been done. I actually saw one today where the person is actually like running at you, like there's a hand going like that, and it looks like the person's running out of the tomb or whatever. It's really, really cool looking, but I've never even thought about that as being a cemetery statue. So that's what I mean by it's kind of hard not to copy something. But haunters, I believe you can copy something, but you have to put your own spin on it. You have to change it so that it's original and it challenges you. If you're just making an exact copy, to me that's just, well, you were able to make it, which is cool, and a task I can't make exact copies of things. So I think that's a very good talent, to be able to copy something directly. But at the same time, I think that getting inspiration and then creating your own version of it with a lot of different details is better, and I think that challenges you even more. So I went with a Mourning style statue where the statue will have it like this. So I'll just show you. Let's turn it around. So I took a regular skeleton. I actually have a stack of skeletons because of the Christmas display. Used all of those skeletons as decorating all the Christmas trees. So a bunch of my skeletons have these kind of heads right here with no jaws. So those are the first ones, and they usually have some sort of issue with their neck or their legs. Like down right there has leg issues, and then actually no head. So you can see another one right there. He doesn't have any hands. So, which I don't even know what I used him for last year. I think I just stuck his hands in the tree. But so this one had all of its parts, but it did have bad legs. So I took the legs off. I'm still going to repurpose them because I'm going to put legs down below there. But so what I did was I did a lot of my first time ever moving around the arms and repositioning them. I didn't care how the arms looked because that's not realistic at all. As you can tell, there's nobody's arm looks like that. If it does, you need to go to the doctor. So, that's quite a little bend in there. That's quite an injury. But I wanted to get, because it's, when you do this type of action with your hands, the skeletons can't do that because the skeleton's hands would go up right here instead. And so it's just a linear move, where your hands, you can obviously, you can move your hands back and forth. So you have more of a pivot joint. This just has a up and down, like we all know. So you have to heat it up. Then you also have to glue the hands in the position, and also you have to bend the neck. Because the Mourning statue, if you have this straight up and down, you're not going to have any type of mourning look to it. So yeah, I took the legs off because I didn't want... this is a much smaller skeleton because the pillars are only about 5 feet tall. They're not even 5 feet tall. So about halfway down the shins is where the skeleton would have to be cut off. So what I'm doing is I'm just making a shorter skeleton. I will use the feet and probably the femur bone there, or whatever that... Yeah, I think that's a femur. Use that. I'll attach it inside to the chicken wire there, and that will be my feet coming out from underneath the curtain material, so, or the sheet. So, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the, it's gonna be kind of a little thing there. I'm gonna go ahead and put the sheet on it so you kind of get an idea of what it's gonna look like. First, we're gonna put on this way a little bit so you get a little more direct sunlight, direct on it. So we're gonna do this is a pillowcase. I'm gonna cut it up a lot more. This is just kind of to dress it to see how it's gonna look. It's got a little cut in there. That's actually really nice. So obviously, when you do monster mud, you want it to look a little more, flowy, not so. As with normal clothes, you have creases and stuff like that. The other one is going to be this, because I want that to cover the chicken wire, obviously, and again, it's going to have some sort of, cutting in it, or creasing and stuff like that, as you lay the monster mud down. So we got a good, oh, that's terrible. Of course, chicken wire has awesome abilities to poke you. Okay, what are we doing here? There. Alright, so we'll kind of go like that for right now, but that will obviously be a much better looking when we actually go to do it. A lot more draping inside the hands, also that hides all of the nasty little joints. One of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this comes out. So I'm probably going to put like a piece of cardboard or something underneath that to keep it out. But the idea is do lots of cool draping on the bottom, and there you go. So now you have this really cool looking Mourning statue. So I'm going to have, what I'm going to do is like I said in the beginning, I'm going to need to put the block down that these are going to sit on, because of the PVC in the back will go through the stake, or through the bar that goes into the foam. So when I create this, when I actually do the monster mud, I'm going to need to do all that, because I want that to drape onto the foam, but I don't want it to stick to it. So that when I lift this off, that stays down like that, so it looks like it's always draping onto the foam itself. So then it looks like it's obviously been there for a long time, and it was made that way. So so that's how it's going to look. And so yeah, so the next step is to do the get the foam block ready and figure out how I'm going to what I'm going to use to put inside the block there. One thing I did want to show you, now that I've figured out how I'm going to do all that, because I've done this 100 times already, is that this is what I did for the back piece. I took some, I think this is 1/2 inch PVC, maybe it's 3/4, I don't know, what is it? I don't know, I think it's 1/2 inch, or 1 inch, whatever it is. So what I did was I took a coupling. I didn't need to do a coupling there, but if you have a long piece of pipe, you don't have to do this, but I didn't have a long piece of pipe. So this is where the pipe will go into from the foam and the base, and then whatever pipe will go through here. So you do need to do zip ties, because I had a screw in there, and obviously the pipe can't go through that. So the pipe will go straight through all of this, and I also put a screw. I did put a screw through there just to hold it a little more secure. So that will actually get the pipe. I may end up adding a piece of pipe up here to go back through the back of it, but I don't know what I'm going to do yet, because the top of his head is going to be right at the top of, they're right at the bottom of the topper of the mausoleum. So you won't see anything. There won't be a break in here where you can see anything back here. So I could put another piece of pipe in here to go up and actually hit the foam up there and go through it. The unfortunate part with doing a skeleton like this is to have it go straight it's still going to have, I may have to bend that head even more. I still may have to bend that more. So we'll see, because it's not really a mourning pose if her head's still straight up and down. So this is how the pipe obviously has to go. It has to go straight up and down, and then that would obviously change the look of the mourning part of it. So as with anything, when you do these, trial and error, and obviously specific to your application. So I need to do a little more work, because right now it looks good because it's all bent over, but if I need to bend that pipe back the right way, I need to bend the head more. So all right, so that's what we've done so far. Probably work on a little bit more of it tomorrow. Hopefully I want to have both statues done by next weekend, and I know a lot of other haunters are doing the same thing, that if you're at home, why not build Halloween stuff? We always put it off until the summertime and nicer weather and everything. We may not have a chance. So one of the things I did want to say is that with this whole virus thing, if it potentially causes us to have to not do Halloween, which I'm thinking, I want July 4th to be the end of it so we can have a big old party and then Halloween won't be affected at all. If for some reason Halloween is affected by it, in the fact that you wouldn't be able to gather in groups of 10 or more, blah, blah, you could still go trick-or-treating, but I have a feeling a lot of people won't want to go do that. By October, everybody's going to be sick of this, so maybe they will want to go out and do trick-or-treating. Obviously, there will be a different style of trick-or-treating, probably, but I implore anybody who does a display only, please make sure you put up your displays. This would go the same thing for Christmas lights. I know some people are putting up Christmas lights now. I don't have the time to do that, and I don't want my electricity bill to go up when I might not have a job for a while, but for Halloween, we have to put our displays up. Walkthroughs, you're probably not going to be able to do your walkthrough unless you want to keep it to like 1 or 2 actors inside and you've got 1 or 2 people going through at the same time. I know we could all make it work. We're a very creative bunch, so walkthroughs could probably be good. We may have a lot of pro haunts that are reduced to home haunt style, or they may have to really reduce their staff, go to animatronic props only, things like that. So there is a way around this for haunted houses and for Halloween in general. But the biggest thing that we can do as home haunters is, if you have a display, even if you have a walkthrough and a display, please make sure you put your display out, because that will give people a sense of normalcy, that, oh, Halloween stuff's up, that's really cool, and it'll make them forget it for a while, which is one of the reasons we do Halloween, is to make people kind of forget and let them escape and get into something scary and let their minds wander and stuff like that. It's the same thing with Christmas, so Halloween is even more immersive than Christmas. You can look at lights, but you can't interact with it like you can with Halloween. So I think as a community, we have an obligation to bring back the normalcy in October if we can, and to really push our neighbors that do Halloween, and to push the rest of the community that we have around us to do Halloween. So I know for the Northwest Haunters Association, I will be extremely pushing anybody who has a display up for Halloween. We've changed the map a little bit so that you can actually select displays only, or walkthroughs, or pro haunts, or mazes, things like that, where we will obviously be putting out one that just has displays that are contactless, things like that, to really help with the fears of people being around other people and stuff like that at that point. So, but yeah, I implore everybody that does a display, or maybe you just do a display this year. If you normally do a walkthrough, kind of think in your mind you're going to do a display. It's going to be tough, because if we don't know what's going to happen month to month, you can't really plan for a big walkthrough and then have nobody be able to come through it. That would be devastating, and I would hate to see anybody do that. I know it's still creative and it's still doing what you love, but to not have anybody be able to go through it, that's tough. It's tough when it rains and nobody goes through it. This would be even worse. There would be, it could be 80 degrees out and nobody's going to come through your haunt, and that would be just, I have a feeling people would give it up at that point, and I don't want to see that. So I guess kind of my haunter PSA is, if you have a display, or you want to do a display, or you have a walkthrough, maybe look at just doing a display and make sure you put up the display. Maybe even put it up a couple weeks early. So I'm going to shoot for putting mine up at least the last weekend in September. So this is a good start. So stay safe, everybody. Do all the distancing stuff. Stay at home if you can. And we'll get through this. Maybe the haunt community will break free. Maybe we'll make the breakthrough on this. And I know a lot of haunters are doing surgical masks. They're sewing surgical masks. I've seen a bunch of different ones do that. Let's continue that effort as well. Anything that your country, this is kind of Victory Garden type territory. Women going to make bullets in the factories type of stuff. I think this is going to be this type of a situation for America, for everybody to pitch in. So it's not a physical war, but it is definitely a war that we need to get a handle on. So that's enough depressing talk. Let's build Halloween. So haunt on. Haunt on.